Yeah. Thank you. It would last very long to present all of us, our team. So I just say that we are very happy to have you here and to celebrate with you actually the 11th anniversary of our center here in Prague. We wanted to celebrate 10th anniversary, but it was not possible last year. So we are happy that we can celebrate with you here, just having conference. And now let me briefly introduce our joint contribution, which has two main parts. Maybe I can speak without the. Yes. Yeah. The first part, Maria Brunová and Hana Nichtburgerová will present Bergmann's views on Yiddish in the context of the growing interest in Eastern Jewish culture at the very beginning of the 20th century. As you will hear, Franz Kafka was not the only one who was seriously interested in Yiddish and Yiddishkeit in Czech lands at that time. The second part, I will present the current state of research on Yiddish in the Czech Republic, also regarding to the previous period. I will also mention the current system of teaching this language in our universities. Then I will present the perspectives of Czech Yiddish studies. In the very end, Jiří Holý will summarize our conclusions. Now I want to give the floor to my colleagues, Maria Brunová and Hana Nichtburgerová, who will present Hugo Bergmann's views on Yiddish.
Thank you, Štěpán. Madam, me and my colleague Hana would like to introduce some Bergmann's thoughts, his opinions on the Yiddish he expressed in the following two articles. Einiges über das Jüdische and unsere Stellung zum Jüdischen. For the first time, Bergmann ruminated on the significance of Yiddish in the journal Unsere Hoffnung, Monatsschrift für die reifere jüdische Jugend. That means, translated, a hope, a monthly for more mature Jewish youth. This journal appeared in Vienna in the period from April 1904 till May 1910. Initially it appeared monthly, but later irregularly. Our hope was the publishing platform of German-speaking Jews. Among its contributors, apart from Hugo Bergmann, we can find such names as the name of Ernst Miller, the Zionist and anthroposoph, or the historian and archivist Josef Meisel, as well as of Theodor Herzl, or the Yiddish writer Isaac Herz. Bergmann articles called Einiges über das Jüdische parenthesized jargon, something about the Yiddish, appeared in December 1904. Here I would like to remark that it was 4 years earlier before the famous international conference in support of the Yiddish language took place. This conference was convened in September 1908 in Germany, and topics like the status of the Yiddish was discussed there. In his article, the 21-year-old Bergmann asks the question, what is actually jargon, that means Yiddish? And he gives following answer. It is neither the spoiled German we can hear in our provinces, nor the pure German with Hebrew letters that was popular in our grandparents' time after Mendelssohn's translation of the Bible. It is a language with its own laws, its own development, its own history. Its history is that of the Jews in the Gauls. This definition gives us several fundamental points. Bergmann considers Yiddish to be a language with its own laws, which is living as it develops, and which also has its own history. Subsequently, he deals with the history of Yiddish. He distinguishes the Eastern from the Western one, and in the course of description of the development, he mentions the term Weiberdeutsch. He says actually that there are Yiddish women that were not literate in Hebrew, but they could read And in Bergmann's point of view, Jewish women in that way contributed to the development of Yiddish literature. For Bergmann, Yiddish is particularly the language of the Jews living in the diaspora. He calls it the language of Ahasiah. And no matter how different it may be, the most important for him, the Yiddish is loved by its user. Finally, he also asks about the present and the future value of the Yiddish. According to him, Yiddish has an immense present value. The publishing of newspapers, magazines, and journals in Yiddish could give the possibility to educate the broad masses of Jews. He gives an example of the daily Der Freund that had been published in Russia at that time. Der Freund had a circulation of 30,000 copies, and thus it would reach a huge number of readers. This is, so Bergmann, an aspect that Hebrew does not have, only Yiddish. And concerning the future, Yiddish had better chance to develop to the national language if Jewish nation could concentrate on one own territory. But at the time that was just a vision, just a dream, and Bergmann says in the meantime it is necessary that both Yiddish and Hebrew should be left.
So later on, in 1914, he published another article where he refers to Yiddish. It was later republished in the collected essays in 1919 in the book Yavne and Jerusalem. And he's saying that the Eastern Jew, he just needs to live, and he is already living Jewish, and that this certainty of being Jewish is due of the Yiddish language. And he also says that our nation is here because there is this national language, and that is Yiddish. And he also said in that article that it's not possible to say that Yiddish is not a language for intellectuals, and that Yiddish is not on such a high level. And even if this would be the case, then it would be our duty to build up on it so that it becomes this language. So for Bergmann, Yiddish preserves Jewish culture, and the fight against Yiddish by the Zionists is a threat to Jewish culture and a step towards assimilation. And he is for Yiddish speakers should have in the East should have schools in Yiddish, and Yiddish is a living language in diaspora in comparison to Hebrew, and all these questions of language are also questions of national identity, and the goal of Zionism is a synthesis between Judaism and humanity, and Yiddish is for him a step on that way of this synthesis.
Now I want to present two other perspectives on Yiddish from this period, from this time, around First World War. Jiří Mordechai Langer, may be known to you also as Mordechai Georgo Langer, was a Czech writer, scholar, and teacher who wrote in Czech, German, and Hebrew. Maybe you know him as the author of Nine Gates, which was translated also in other languages. I don't know if it was translated in Hebrew, so if you know it, I would be glad for the information. In his review of poems Und du bist Gott, of the Yiddish poem Abraham Nochem Stenzel, published in Selbstwehr in 1925, Langer claims that Jews' stereotypical disdain for Yiddish is nonsensical. Hebrew is more noble than Yiddish, but Yiddish can express more intimate ideas as well as the spirit of the Eastern European Jew. Quote from this review, beginning of quote, "It's impossible to truly understand modern Hebrew writing without also becoming familiar with Yiddish writing." End of quote. Another point of view is by a lawyer and representative of Czech Jewish movement, Jiří. In his article, Yiddish, Contribution to the Austrian Language Question and to the History of Slavic Languages, published in 1915, he writes about Yiddish. In context of Russian, Polish, and Czech Jews speaking authentically, according to Jiří, Slavic languages till the 16th century. So Yiddish is just a continuation of those Jews who speak Russian, Polish, and Czech originally. Yiddish is a language consisting of mangled German and remnants of Hebrew. Eastern Jews are trapped in this, beginning of quote, dialect created out of persecution, lack of freedom, and misery, end of quote. Its aesthetic qualities are irrelevant. So that's opinions from the other side, from the not Zionist, but Czech Jewish movement side. And now I'm going to tell you something more about Yiddish studies in Czech Republic. I am going to talk about research, educational activities, translation into Czech, and perspectives of Yiddish studies in the Czech Republic. So next. There was no systematic research, translation policy, and educational activities in the Czechoslovakia or in Czech Republic in 20th century. However, we are aware of the historical and cultural importance of Yiddish and Yiddishkeit for the Czech lands. Paradoxically, although we do not have pyramids in the Czech lands, we can boast a famous Czech Egyptology. On the other hand, there are no Yiddish studies in the Czech Republic, although Yiddishkeit is or was clearly part of the Czech cultural space. In recent years, there have been established 2 research and educational centers which are also interested in Yiddish. At the Faculty of Arts at Palacký University in Olomouc and at Faculty of Arts at Charles University in Prague. Both locations within the frame of Jewish studies. Yiddish research in the Czech Republic represented by Maria Krapman in Olomouc, a teacher, researcher, editor, and translator, both from Eastern and Western Yiddish, and Olga Zitová, teacher of Hebrew polygraphy, researcher, translator, editor. She publishes about Jewish prints also, and both of them, Krapman and Zitová, deal with Western Yiddish tradition. On the other side, at Prague University and Charles University here, Petr Jan Vinš concentrates on teaching Eastern Yiddish and translating Eastern Yiddish texts, and he is also promoter of Yiddish. He has got, for example, he has founded also Facebook pages about Yiddish, about Eastern Yiddish. Here is one of the, let's say, promotion of Yiddish in our magazine called Bluff. Issue is devoted to Yiddish, and it's called Warm Greetings from the Yiddish Land. As you see, it's 6 years ago. And also you can see some other translation of Yiddish from the 20th century. There are individual publications almost exclusively from Eastern Yiddish, and there are some books or texts in magazines. In communist period, the translator Jakub Markovich is worth to mention. He edited a collection of short stories by Yiddish authors, Rosinky and Amandle, Raisin and Almonds, in 1968. He was also the translator of the book. Trouble of translation from Yiddish is that sometimes in early periods texts were translated not from the Yiddish directly, but from Russian or German. And the same trouble is with Nobel Prize winner Yitzhak Bashevis-Singer, because he is translated from the English versions of the book. Now it's going to be changed, I think, and also it's thanks to both already mentioned translators Petr Jan Winch and Maria Krapman, and some of their students. What are the perspectives of Yiddish studies in Czech Republic at present? It's more than obvious that there is lots of to do in Czech Yiddish studies in Czech Republic. We need to translate and study Yiddish writing in the Czech lands in early modern period. There are also other individual linguistic and literary scholarly tasks related to Eastern Yiddish, Jewish Czech German, or Czech or Jewish Czech, both ethnolex, which we can study. We can, thanks to Jewish Czech, we can also define, for example, Czech Jewish literature, thanks to the elements of Jewish Czech. It would be splendid if Yiddish studies would be for someone also a full-time job in Czech Republic and not just a hobby.
Now, a short conclusion of our speech. After the First World War, Bergmann connected the ideal of Jewish life with Jewish Palestine. As Jan Fingerland has said, he went to Palestine and contribute to the building of Jewish national identity. Bergmann rejected the admiration of Western assimilated Jews for the authenticity of the Jewish East. It's known from Franz Kafka or Jiří Langer. According to Bergmann, Jewish students should first and foremost adopt the Jewish tradition and identify with it. The national language of the Jews was to be Hebrew, not Yiddish. So Bergmann himself had advocated a teaching of his language before the war. As far as Yiddish their task ahead, this visit they are able to establish Yiddish studies as a field of study. It also certainly means a return to Bergmann's concept inspired by the multicultural Prague. And according to Bergmann, the goal of Zionism is a synthesis between Judaism and humanity. Thank you very much.